Went into effect on July the 1st. I know we've sold one permit so far. I was kind of surprised. I expected them to be lined up, but that hasn't happened yet. And what we are, the city and the county's ordinances are similar, but yet there's 2 or 3 items that are pretty much 180 degrees apart. So what we have decided with the city, the easiest method to take care of everything, that if you live in the county, you're going to have a county permit to ride your golf cart. If you want to drive the golf cart into the city, you're going to have to get a city permit, and vice versa. If you got a city permitted golf cart, you want to drive out into the county, you're going to have to get a county permit. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Like I said, the reason we did that is because there's some differences in our ordinances, and without going back and trying to merge the two and open up a whole nother can of worms, we decided that was the easiest way to handle that issue.
Mark, on the vehicle like my mule, which is registered through DNR, that's legal to ride on the county roads.
Yeah, yes, as long as it's properly registered.
Yeah. Does the city recognize that also? Do you know?
I don't know.
I'll check with them, but I just want to.
Mark, have you said any times that you might be located out in Thorn Creek or someplace that people could take their golf carts to? Or do they have to bring them in town?
No, we don't. What we have done, I'm glad you brought that up. What we have done in our application process is we have an application, and we also provide everybody with a copy of the ordinance. And in the application, they are signing their name, reading through it and signing their name to the fact that their golf cart complies with the equipment and everything else that is required in the ordinance. Therefore, they do not need to they don't have to bring the golf cart in. We don't go out and inspect them. We're going on their word, that their signature on the page says that it complies with the ordinance. And then they're issued the little sticker, and if they're found somewhere down the road to be in violation of that, then we take enforcement action on that.
One question, what reported storm damage to county property?
Yes, thank you. There are 3 areas that I can think of. One is the trees down on the courthouse lawn, which, by the way, I received a plea from actually it's a county employee I need to deal with today. He said one of the trees is a very special tree and we want to try to save it if possible. So they're very rare. So I need to check on that. And the end result to that is our insurance company has hired a tree service to take care of the trees on the courthouse lawn. Secondly, if you go out and you look at this building next to us, what's it called? The Mopfer building?
Rockford.
What is it?
Rockford.
And you look up above on their roof, they have the old tile that you kind of put one over the other, you cap your roof with. One of those blew off, punctured right above her desk and stuff, the roof above her desk, and water into her office. So we were able to secure Fort Wayne Roofing that by 6 o'clock or so. I think it was fixed on Friday night. They came right out and fixed the holes in the roof. Not temporarily, they fixed them. So that's done. And then we got a report from Community Corrections.
Yeah.
Community Corrections said they had some roof damage.
Okay.
I think roof damage, and so we reported that. So that seems to be the only damage that we know of. So.
You can't talk about the radios and what happened?
He didn't.
No, he didn't.
Oh, you didn't talk about 800 megahertz? No. Okay, yeah. Let's just do. Try to make it really quick if I can. A few years ago, when the sheriff's department was kind of to a fork in the road, they were either going to have to replace a lot of VHF radios because of the narrow banding situation, or, which was gonna cost us, or they could go to 800 megahertz, which was free. We went 800 megahertz. It seemed like the right way to go, but as it turns out, in an emergency, it's not the right way to go. 800 megahertz radios works much different than any other radio. You don't talk direct. You may pick up your radio and you may key your mic, but that information doesn't really go out to every other radio. It goes to, for all practical purposes, it goes to a computer somewhere, and that computer then selects a channel and sends the information on. That works unless everybody wants to use the radio at the same time. The analogy I used yesterday, we had far more people in here, where if those last 4 chairs were computers and everybody in this room had an 800 megahertz radio and they all keyed at the same time, all but 4 are going to get busy signals. And that's just the situation. So sometimes I guess you need to look a gift horse in the mouth. We had deputies that, the sheriff himself, how long did you wait to get rid of a busy signal?
Probably 30 to 60 seconds, and sometimes I never got the
Because see,
indication.
you said you drove quite a ways one time, and
A couple miles.
a couple miles before you could even break through the busy signal. I mean, so it's just something I think we need to take a look at. You know I spent a lot of years in emergency services, and I probably have a different outlook on it, but we always tried to do things with anything that was absolutely critical needs a redundant system. You need some backup. In the ambulances, we used UHF radios and UHF HTs, but we always had VHF to back us up. If something went down in UHF, we always had the VHF to back us up. And quite frankly, we don't have that now in the Sheriff's Department. So this is the second emergency. The first one, I believe, was the snowstorm, right?
Yeah, it was about a year and a half ago, the 24
The first
hour
one was a
blizzard.
snowstorm. Now, so we've now had 2 emergency times since we've put the 800, gone on board with the 800, that we've not had good success. So I guess we're just saying that because I really want the sheriff to look for some type of redundant feature. Also, I walked out the front door. I came in from home Friday afternoon. I walk in the back door. I walk out the front door, and the EMA calls me to tell us that the Emergency Operations Center is activated. And I said, good. I said, do we have any storms coming in behind this storm? What's your radar showing? And she said, I don't know, our internet's down. Holy mackerel. The internet in the EOC is down. Folks, that shouldn't happen. There needs to be redundancy there too, and I believe that is being addressed.
Yes, Scott Jones is looking into installing through a whole separate company, a second line that will, I don't understand all of it, but basically it will be tied together in a manner that if one of them fails, the other one picks right up and you don't lose a step at all.
Yeah. I mean, how would we, I just thought that was kind of crazy, really. But,
Don, but while the sheriff's here, while we're on the radio situation, you know, after that, we got, the fire departments, they all got called out. You know, there was trees down on live wires, there was fires everywhere. And out there in that Detroit Township, we couldn't get a hold of a soul. Cell phones wouldn't work to the 248-8911. Radios wouldn't work, absolutely nothing. There's fires burning all over because of the hot wires. You know, and if you could have got a hold of somebody, the REMC can drop them lines instantly. But you couldn't get out there, you couldn't get a hold of nothing. We was totally on our own. And somebody's gonna get killed out there one of these days. That's one of them exploded, you know, 20 feet from where my truck was. And there was absolutely nothing. And it was a mile from my home.
Is there a cure for this?
so you had no radio contact? You had no...
I don't know, there was nothing. with the handheld radios, you couldn't get a hold of anybody.
And phones are down as well?
Pardon me?
Phones were down as well?
Well, I mean, I'm sure the 911 number, they were so busy they didn't answer from a cell phone. You know, so that, thankfully, that situation.
I don't,
Finally, the breakers tripped out on a three-phase line and the fires went out.
okay.
But if they wouldn't have tripped out, I don't know what had happened. You
Alright.
couldn't get a hold of nothing.
I'm not aware
But
that,
it's a bad area out there
Alright.
as far as,
I'm not aware that
Fire stuff.
8911 number is even activated anymore.
oh, I've talked to somebody in there.
Okay.
They answer that number. It's a fire department, not an emergency number.
Okay. I remember when it was, but I thought that one was.
Because when you live out there, sometimes you've gotta call it because there's no radio service.
We use 248, we've always used 248-3161 to talk to dispatch, for non-emergency.
I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to use it, but
Okay.
somebody answers it, I'm happy. But there's absolutely nothing.
I had the privilege, really, it was pretty interesting. The sheriff and I both spent some time in dispatch while this was going on. There were 4 people in there. There were the 2 regular dispatchers, and then my Kathy Shively, my sister, came in from home, and Scott Geist. Scott Geist came in off the streets and assisted. Because there are only 4 stations. There's only 4 stations there, so doing everything they can. It was, needless to say, it was amazing, and I thought they did a great job. I would, I want to give public oh, you're on the board. I want to give public kudos to Northeast RMC. By far, the finest utility organization to work with in an emergency. By far. So please pass that on. They were wonderful. They were truly wonderful and very responsive. I'm not saying AEP isn't, but AEP is so huge. And then while I was in there, they only gave me one job, and I failed at it, okay? A call came in from up in your area that said, we need Noble County REMC. Okay. So Kathy sat, and I thought this was amazing. My sister Kathy called Noble County Sheriff direct on the radio and said, will you please notify Noble County REMC that their poll number, blah, 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 is down and the wires are live. The response back was, we don't have a direct line to REMC. You'll have to call them yourself. I guarantee you, we have a line to REMC here, but
See, that's
they
what I was
didn't.
trying to get at
So
a
they
little bit ago.
gave me, so they gave us the phone number to call, and I told Kathy, I said, let me call it, report it, and I dialed that 636 number and was, sorry, due to heavy call volume, you'll have to place your call to REMC at a later time. So, I don't know, that's incredible, but I heard several times how good Northeast REMC was to work with. So, and really, they didn't have any trouble with AEP either from that standpoint. The dispatch has a way to get into AEP, and Kathy was just literally sitting there with this pad, and she was repeating, marking down, giving them all the locations that we knew of at the time. So, yeah, it was something. But I was concerned about the 800 megahertz in the internet redundancy from the storm. So I think that's it, John.
Okay. We have the assessor's office pay changes on it. The caucus has not taken place. We continued it for this meeting, and I suggest we continue it again until the caucus is complete.
And the caucus is gonna happen next Wednesday,
Next,
Is it?
the 10th.
next Tuesday at 7?
Yes, next Tuesday at 7, excuse me.
Has anybody filed for that besides Rita?
Not to my knowledge.
John?
I still think with the note from Angie and the note from Rita, the deputy assessor needs to have that increase. to her pay based on the workload that she had to do during the absence of the person. And do you want me to speak on behalf of that?
Yes.
The accumulation of comp time for that office has been above and beyond what it normally is because of that. And it'll have to be paid out when she takes office, which will also include all her vacation time, which she's accumulating at this time also. So we're looking at about, last time I looked at it, it was gonna be about $3,400 between the two of them. But I still think that compensating Rita without compensating Kim was the wrong thing to do in the beginning, when Angie left specific instructions and requests to have the pay increase at that time.
The budget binders in the back, pick it up before you leave.
Jimmy, the deadline to file for that, is it passed? Or can they file right up to the time of the
I
caucus?
think it's within 24 hours of the caucus, but I can't say that for sure.
And Debbie was out yesterday, someone else asked that, and I called after the meeting, and Debbie went home sick yesterday, and I don't think she's, well, I got here at 6:30, so I know she wasn't in there then, so I'll find out today when the deadline is. It's really, yeah, like up to the very last, probably noon on Monday, the 9th or something.
I just want to make sure that if we do determine to give increases and they have outstanding comp time balances, the increases are so significant that I don't want to pay out the comp time at their new rates,
No.
but the older rates.
That's what I looked at too, and I know Rita, some of that will, I suggested, she has vacation the 16th through the 20th already been scheduled. Take care of grandkids, plans, go away. I don't know what to say, I mean, I can't really say, can we use her comp time at that time? Because if she becomes the assessor on the 10th,
The policy manual should say, when somebody takes time off, the order that the leave is taken. So if she's gonna take time off, and the policy manual says comp time, then vacation time, then sick time,
but she'll be an elected official then. Then that will be totally thrown out the door.
Well, you'll know by the deadline.
just follow the policy manual, that's what it's there for, as far as I'm concerned. We don't wanna make any exceptions or
I know.
set bad precedents.
I mean, I don't foresee it ever happening, it's just an odd circumstance, is what I'm trying to say. But I hate the fact that
There's
here she's
also,
gonna take a whole week off and she plans it, but then to be,
Pam can check, but I think there's some language in there about when somebody goes to elected official status.
yeah, but I read that, that's how I learned that you gotta pay them their sick time, all their vacation out, and all comp time at that time.
See,
At
so
the
no matter
rate.
what, if she takes it at comp time, she's gonna get that vacation pay anyway.
Yeah. She's gonna get paid for the vacation before she takes the vacation, then take the vacation as an elected official. See what I'm
Just
saying?
because of the time.
Just because
Oh,
of the
yeah,
time.
but we can't,
I know.
like, you can't rip her off either, so you just gotta
No.
follow the policy manual.
That would help with about half of it though, the cost.
Yeah.
We have our schedule for our